let me introduce myself. I'm Coco, and you have landed on this video and this channel not by chance. So however you found this video right now, you were supposed to. So you can kind of imagine it as you have had this like knowing inside of you your entire life, and there's been this like beacon. This beacon brought you here. What is here? We are a whole state of being that holds the integrity, the knowledge, and the wisdom that you also carry inside of yourself for what it means to live in this new world that has now birthed and is beginning to birth. What is the new world? The new world is not the world that you were born into, but the world that you were born for. So really just take that in. You have now arrived at the world that you were born for. So let's just take a moment and let's just roll all the way back, however old you are, whatever your age is. Notice that throughout your entire life, you always felt like perhaps you were here for something more. Perhaps things just didn't click and you just didn't fit in. You know, your whole entire life, you could have felt, these thoughts, these craziness, this like depression, this anxiety, these voices in your head, and I'm going to use me as an example just to start this all off so that you can maybe see yourself in me. From the time I was a little girl, I always felt this like huge, like pressure or pit inside of me, like this big far away seed or hole or something inside of me that I just could not access and I could not make sense of. It felt like a hole, like an emptiness inside of me. And, it would just like suck back all the time. And I just could not place what this was. So like everybody else, I went on my merry way in life. I had my childhood. I did what everybody around me did, taught me how to do. I became programmed in my life to want certain things, to see certain things. And I just never really understood myself. From a very, very, very young age, I would see energy. Lots of people could call it as dead people, or I would hear voices. I remember when I was, I think in grade 3, I told my cousin that I saw and talked to dead people, and she told me don't ever, ever say that to somebody ever again. And I didn't. I shut it down. I thought I was crazy. I would walk down the sidewalk. I would know when I was going to see people before I saw them. I always just had this like quote unquote knowing inside of me of where to go, what to do, and things kind of guided me. Now, a byproduct of that, I felt fucking crazy for most of my life. I didn't want the same things as everybody around me. I didn't want to, stay in the town that I grew up in, have kids, get married. I wanted something more, and I couldn't figure out what that more was. Most of my life, I thought that was success. I thought it was getting a degree and having this like external company or all these external things. So I chased that for majority in all of my 20s into my 30s, thinking that was the more, because I could not understand why I didn't want what everybody else around me wanted. So I was constantly pushing myself against the grain. I was constantly seeking the opposite of what everybody else wanted. Throughout my life, especially in my older years, I used to have this like experience at nighttime where I was scared to go to bed, even well into my 20s, into my late 30s, where I would say, I can't go to sleep because aliens are gonna come and get me. That's how I would label it. I would have these like weird ass fucking dreams, and I would feel like people were like working on me and having all these experiences. Then, like we so often do, everybody goes through this, you have a point in your life where what I call is you have your awakening, meaning you're sleeping, you have no idea that you are a light in a body of form. You are just living this human life, going through the motions, looking at everybody else, kind of just checking off this checklist. Okay, I got married, I had my kids, I did this, I did that. But there's always that kind of like hole that I'm saying, that expression inside of yourself that you can't quite pinpoint. The older you get, the more you stuff it down. And then usually through pain, usually through heartbreak, loss, some sort of pain, all of the sudden you have a moment where you awaken. Now, my awakening came through a breakup with my ex that I had had for 16 years. That pain in my body was so extreme and so radical that all of the sudden I listened to somebody outside of me who suggested going to a healer at that time, and I had what I call my awakening. From the moment that I awakened in 2015 to now, I have never had those aliens come back and get me at night. Why? Because that was me coming to me my entire life, checking on me, making sure I was good, helping me get to the point of awakening to get me here today where I'm in front of you now as a guide to help you remember who you are as you enter into the life that you were born for. So you're not alone and you're not crazy. When you look at someone like me, I had my awakening in 2015 and I fought it for 3 years. I didn't want to have anything to do with anything about what I was. I was deep in my fashion life. I had built a multi-million-dollar fashion company. I was a designer. I was, knee all the way up to my head, not even knee deep, all the way up to my head in creating this life, in having this success, in being, known as the fashion person and proving to myself, but most of all, proving to the world that I was worth something, that I was, more than what I told myself I was. So when I awakened, I was completely repelled by myself, completely. I found it interesting that I had awakened and I was feeling so good and so different, understanding my body slowly on an energetic level, but I could not accept and could not compute that I was who I was inside of me. So I literally gave myself the middle finger to it and continued on my merry way, trying to build this external life, trying to seek this external life. Until I got to a point in 2019 where I literally was at a point where I would rather die, where I tried to die, and I could not, even if I wanted to, entertain that external life anymore. So I literally took a match and I went like this and blew up that entire life. I didn't sell it. I didn't try to save it. I just literally was like, I'm fucking done. And I burnt it. I let it go. From that point forward, I've spent the last 5 years silently behind the scenes, not being public, working with hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people and helping them understand themselves, helping myself grow, remember, and being a big part of what humanity has done to get us here. I could not come forward until now. I could not be here with all of you until now because I had work that I signed up to do in what I call, team humanity work in order to get us here. And many, many people beside me who also have been healing and flipping and changing their lives, just relatable, everyday people who 4 or 5 years ago, said yes to themselves and was like, yes, I'm here for something more. And a byproduct of that, they unlocked things that needed to help the world get here. So if you imagine, the world has been at war for eons and eons and eons. And we have been fighting this battle to get our world back. And how I would explain that is, imagine that there was an Earth, and we'll call it Earth 1 and Earth 2. The new world is Earth 2. Earth 1 duplicated Earth 2. To make it easy in understanding, in the last 5 years, Earth 2 basically took over Earth 1, and now Earth 2 is rising. While we take over Earth 1, we are still living with the mess and the things that Earth 1 embodies. So what does that mean? That means that you are here now to understand who you are as a light being, who you are as light in a body of form, and how do you live in Earth 2 while it still externally looks like Earth 1. And you can imagine that all of Earth 1's like structures, the way it operates, the way it thinks, the way it's programmed, you know, the energy of Earth 1 still exists in our world and is still, let's use the word, attacking our bodies of form. It's still seeping into, you know, the soil of that of which we are. So as you move into life in the new world, the one that you were born for, you have to learn how to live and how to operate and how to understand yourself and not be so fucking scared of yourself and not be Coco and take 3 years avoiding yourself. Those days are done. You no longer have to be scared of who you are. You no longer have to see energy as this like woo-hoo, scary, you know, witch with a hat, like those type of mindsets that, you know, served us so well, but they no longer matter. You know, energy is not something outside of you. It is you. It is you. And the biggest flip that is happening right now is energy, the light of which you are that sits in this body, is not something that you're interested in. It's not something that you do outside of you. It is you. Everything is energy. So when you understand that, when you embody that, you will move forward into a life that you couldn't even fucking imagine for yourself. So as Earth 2 has taken over Earth 1, a lot of things in Earth 1 are, you know, heightened and moving up. So there's a lot of people who literally are selling consciousness and, you know, trying to get you to understand yourself out of fear, you know, telling you that something's wrong with you so that it's an external thing so that you don't understand yourself. I, for the last 5 years, walked that. I walked it in our sessions. I walked it in mentoring. I walked it in just every aspect. We walked it to see how people are so addicted. Addicted is the key word, to somebody telling them so that they don't have to look at themselves. So the biggest problem, we'll call it, the biggest obstacle that humanity is facing right now is they are so addicted to having the fingers pointed at someone else and they're terrified to point them at themselves. So even in what I would call 4D, and 4D is, you know, the gateway things to consciousness, where your mind and your body is awakening to the fact that you're so much more. Those are wonderful. They're absolutely needed. We are not dissing and never would diss anything that anybody does. It's all needed for what they need to do. But in those gateways, all those gateways has the being seeing something outside of themselves, looking for something outside of themselves in order to heal and change their life. In the new world, you realize that you have everything inside of you. You know how to reverse your disease. You know how to live, you know, to 120. You understand how energy affects you and how to also get it to leave you. You have people in your life, you know, me as a mentor, I mentor so many people to hold their hands and guide them, to teach them, to show them how. I'm not here to do it for you. People like to say that, you know, me or people around are the ones that are healing and doing it for them. That is completely wrong. That is the person still living in that victim, rescuer, abuser triangle that Earth One is so well known for, so that they can point the fingers out at everyone else, because if they can, then there's somebody else to blame. If something doesn't work, if this is wrong, whatever the case may be, it's their fault. It's their fault. Something's wrong with them. They're the problem. They're the dark energy. They're the whatever. Because heaven forbid, they have to take the responsibility and accountability and the integrity of which the new world holds, and look at oneself and see what one can do to change their life. When you live in your old life, which we'll call Earth One life, we all walk this, where we literally do not want to take responsibility for ourselves. We want to blame somebody. We want to sit in our shit. We want to feel like shit. And even though we want to get out of it, we want the pill, the quick fix, the person, whatever it can to help us. That is the energy, and at the same time, the consumption and trap that has so many of us stuck, because we cannot compute that we can do it ourselves. So we look externally all the time. What's the next thing, next thing, next thing? Who can I blame? Who can I be mad at? That's that cycle and that tornado right now that is really, really consuming you and lots of people. What you need to understand, and what you can't avoid, is because Earth 2 has taken over Earth 1, all of this is waking up inside of you. You are listening to me right now because your light led you here, so that you can realize that you are here for more, and that you don't have to live in the pain, the trauma, the stories, whatever it might be, that you can heal yourself. You can understand how to move forward in your life and be part of the new world. And that comes with one thing: saying yes to yourself. Stop saying yes to everybody and say yes to you. Realize how many times you say yes when you actually mean no. Take that in. How much of your life do you spend saying yes when you actually mean no? And how I'm seeing it right now is, imagine it's like literally there's a big pile of shit, and you're constantly being like, yes, throwing that shit into your body. Yes, throwing that shit into your body, because you don't understand why the fuck you're even saying yes, or why you're saying no when you actually mean yes. Because your entire life, you have been running from thinking, not feeling. So in the new world, you get to understand yourself and what has been like closed off and locked off from you in regards to feeling. Feeling is truth. Feeling is living from your light. Logic and thinking is the ego and what I will call the program. The program's only purpose in our life is to destroy our fucking life, is to take over us so that we don't feel and we have no conscious awareness that we are in this body. So really just breathe for a moment and take that in. We are born into the program. We are born into these bodies that are part of Earth One, that are part of what we will call the program, which is a computer operating system, which you can look at it as your ego, however you need to see it. That program instills fear, instills doubt, instills hesitancy, doom and gloom, and it keeps you in the victim, rescuer, abuser cycles within yourself. Your program, based on what your lineage is, based on what you have gone through in life, will operate and run from all of that. When you are born into the program and you were born into your life, you then develop what we call wounds. Everybody alive either has a self-worth, rejection, or abandonment wound. You have one on your female and one on your male. That is why you do the things that you do. All of those things feed what we call the program and keep you stuck. The program, you can see it as a robot, you can see it as a scuba suit, you can see it as a costume that you wear. Once you are aware of this costume, you start to remove the costume and you're able to get your light out to run the show. Your light takes over your body and you're able to identify what the program is, and you no longer live in the program, you live in your light. This is the explanation for everything. Every disease, everything that you cannot quite understand about yourself or others, somewhere along the way, the program is running the show. You're able to understand it and you're able to disable it. Truly. It is not hard to do this because so many people before you have already walked it, to be able to be the examples and to be able to teach you, and it will click faster than it's ever clicked for you, because we are now in this energy where all of this, quote unquote, makes sense. All of this, your body, your cells, your DNA can handle this information. Even if you're listening to me talk right now and you can't make sense of it, your body is feeling it, and that's all you need. Now, the biggest thing to disable the program and to start living in your light is not through words. Words literally feed the program. Take that in. Words, when we talk about it and we don't embody it, just give me a second. Words, when we talk about something and we don't do something about it, just keeps us in this program. So imagine the program looks like a fan, okay? A ceiling fan. You know when you're laying in bed and you're watching the fan? At the top of the fan is physical. On this side of the fan is emotional. On the bottom of the fan is mental. And on the left-hand side is spiritual. That is the program, okay? You will get stuck in these fans throughout your day or throughout your life. So if you notice that all of a sudden you are on a loop, okay? Your mind, we'll call it, the voice in your head that's not you, is looping. You know, it could be literally you saw somebody that you used to know on the street, and you talk to them, and then you walk away, and all of a sudden you start looping. You start going on about like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. What are they thinking of me? You're looping. Then all of a sudden you're like back at the office or you're at home, and now you're looking them up on social media. You're becoming almost like obsessed. You're looping, you're bringing back the conversation. You're going back into all the moments that you knew each other, all these things. You are stuck in mental. You are stuck in mental. The program has entered into your state of being and you don't know how to get out. So what do you historically probably do? Blame yourself. You'd be like, I'm fucked. What's wrong with me? I don't know. Like, why am I looping about this? Why can't I stop thinking about this? Maybe even you start dissing them, being like, well, they're this, they're that. You point the fingers out, do whatever to try and escape this fan that you're stuck in. The trick and the easiness of all this is understanding yourself, which means that you identify and can see where you are in the fan. That's awareness. Then you're able to apply the consciousness to get yourself out of that. So in my mentoring, I would be able to guide you on your wounds, show you, help you, quote unquote, assist you in actionables to get yourself out of it. And then cellularly and DNA wise, you could go in and have a session and remove all of that of which is stuck in your program to help you be free of it. That is a simple example of the new world. You do not have to, meditate for 2 weeks. You do not have to be stuck in things for this long period of time. We are here to move faster and faster and faster than ever before. We are now in a river of information, of consciousness, and we see something that gets us stuck in a program fan. We're able to then go into our consciousness to be able to apply the action, to remove it, and then move forward into the creation of who we are. Take that in and breathe. Just breathe. Feel my words. That is what is happening. The society that is starting to form was here, was in this timeline, in this planet, in a time that you can't even compute. We have been here before, seeding this, planning this, doing this. We have trained lifetimes to get here. We have never, ever, ever, ever been this far. So it is a big deal. It makes me emotional. And it is so fucking exciting that we are here because we're actually doing it. Even though your eyes might look out to the world and you might look at your life and be like, Coco, there's a lot of fucking shit going on. Like, honestly, is shit changing? Honestly, are we moving in this direction? Yes. Yes, we are. And what is this direction? What is this new world? It is based off of creativity. It is based off of joy. It is based off of freedom, abundance, and love. It is better together. It is not me focused. It is not tit for tat. It is an understanding of who we are and then building a world and building our lives out from that space. Creativity and joy has been stripped from us as the program has taken over. And why? Because creativity and joy is what fuels our light. So of course it's been stripped away. Look at your life. I can speak to it in the little bit that I shared with you. I literally had passion, creativity, and joy for fashion. My program made that my career, made that my dream. And while it did that, I lost it all because I had no joy from it. It became my way of providing for myself. It became this stress. It got so fucking fucked up, just like the program wanted to do, was ruin my fucking life. And it took the one thing that I felt joy from and turned it against me. And that happens to all of us because we don't understand ourselves. And we didn't know what we didn't know. And we didn't know that the program has been doing this our whole entire life. So now we get to learn about ourselves. We get to understand the program and how we override the program. And then we get to do things from creativity and from joy. And when we live in that state, all of a sudden our light runs the show. Our light guides us. Our light gives us what we would call downloads. It will give us information and it will create. We will create. We become the creators from the inside out. No longer are you consumed by this voice in your head that's just repeating, telling, talking, won't shut the fuck up. You're able to understand who you are because the voice goes away. Truly, I don't have the voice right in this moment. I do get it, and when I get it, I'm able to transmute it. But right now, I don't have it because I'm here with you, and I'm in my creativity, my joy, my truth. And a byproduct of this, all this information comes out because I am owning who I am. I'm sitting here right now in the truth of who I am with no ulterior motive in making this video other than it's the right fucking thing to do. I'm not sitting here hoping that people will come and have sessions in our world. I'm not sitting here fucking posting this hoping that 1 million views. I don't give a flying fuck. I'm doing it because this is why my light is in this body of form. To be here is the hand that you shake and that you hold as you discover who you are. If a byproduct of that, yes, you resonate and you want to come and have sessions and understand yourself and change your life, awesome. But that is not my intent. And that is how the new world rolls, exists. And I know I can hear voices of all of you guys being like, but Coco, I need to pay my bills, or I need to live, or I need to do this. Yes. And you will, because the world seeks and wants what you are putting down. The world wants you. The world wants what you have inside of you. Take that in. You don't even fucking know what's inside of you. I didn't know what was inside of me. I could not have even imagined that I would be sitting across from you in this year, 2024, as Coco, the guide for a new world to help people. I had no idea. I thought I was going to be a fashion multimillionaire selling my companies for millions and, opening up charities and doing all these things someday. I did do greatness when I lived in my Earth One life. Let's not, dim that. But I didn't know that this was inside of me. I had an idea with the things that I shared with you. I had an idea that I was different than everybody else around me. I had an idea that there was this longing and this burning inside me, but I had no fucking idea. Why? Because there was nobody around me that could have inspired me or given me the language of what it meant to be conscious and to live as a light in a body of form. I had no fucking idea. I am the example. The world around me, the people who have changed their lives and healed, they're the example. You are too. But maybe you just haven't begun. But as you're listening to me, that there is something inside of you that is dying to birth out, and all you got to do is understand yourself and listen so that it can. And it's fucking unreal. And there's billions upon billions upon billions of people on this world who are looking for whatever it is that you have inside of you, who you are. Because you are here for the world that we are now in. This is why you're born. This is why you were here. This is why you've had the life that you've had for now. And there's nothing to be scared of. But let me tell you, Earth One has got all the fear billboards, has got all the stories. It's doing whatever it fucking can to get you to be scared, to get you to be like, oh no, just let me dim myself. Let me listen to that story in my head. Let me fucking fight. Let me fucking blame. Let me do all these finger pointings and be upset and be mad or whatever it is for you. Why? So that you don't remember who you are. So that you don't do what you came here to do. So that you stay in this small little program life and feel the pain in your body, in your heart, and in your mind. The world isn't as tragic as it seems. There is a lot of pain, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of hurt and there's a lot of fucked up shit going on. But on the flip side of that, there's so much greatness that is happening. There's so much innovation. There's so much newness. There's so much creativity. And there's an awakening happening. There is a light switch turning on, and it's happening right now. And so many kids, so many people have this light switch turning on and they don't know what to do with it. That's why I'm here. To show you what to do with it, to get you to believe in yourself and get you to understand yourself. You are not here to live the program life, which is the checklist, which is to work until you fucking die, to live a life of someday, to be so busy throughout your days, so checked out on your phone at night, to just be getting by. You're not here to survive. You're here to thrive. You're here to thrive. So breathe. We don't care that the program exists in the world anymore. In my work, I've just spent the last 4 years understanding it, living as it, seeing it from every single angle. The program is just information now for your light so that you can override it and that you can live a life where you see it, you transmute it, and you no longer live in it. A lot of the gateways, a lot of the gateways, the 4D gateways, I don't even know them to label them, to be honest, because I haven't been in that, but all the things that consciousness is selling right now, all the books, all the courses, all the things externally that are trying to sell to you so that you can be better. Those are the gateways. The gateways literally keep you stuck and they keep you spinning this way, okay? Consciousness is a spiral, and the only way up and out of it is up, okay? Once you have served your time spinning this way, you will move up and out, okay? And you won't do this until you're ready, and most people get trapped in this spin because, excuse me, it literally feeds the program because it feeds the external. Your work is to get yourself out of the spin, because the spin will keep you here, which keeps you in seeking something outside of you instead of understanding yourself to move up and out. Now, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. There is no bad. It's just a neutral energy that literally exists, and we all have to have it. But if you are one of those people, and I remember in my early days, I would say, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm meditating every single day. I'm writing things to the moon. I'm going to Reiki. I'm, doing all these things, but I still feel like fucking shit inside. I still feel like there's something missing because I was trapped in this left and this right spin, and I didn't have the tools, hadn't met anybody because I had to become it to then teach it, to be the mentor on how to get up and out. So many people that I mentor spin like this for sure. They want Coco to tell them. They want it, the hand to just tell them so that they don't have to fix me, help me, get me to feel better, stabilize me externally. And then they think they're good. Why do people quit the work? Why do people leave themselves? Is because they don't want to pop through and up and go internal and look at themselves. That is the energy that has been happening radically for the last 5 months, is people no longer can sustain if they're not willing to go like this and look at themselves. So notice that within your life. Notice the moments in the last year for sure where you have just kind of been like this. And you're like, okay, the external isn't so bad. You can feel good some days, rocky the other days, whatever. You can tell yourself whatever, but you can see that spin that you've been doing. Look at your fall. Look at, the last 5 months. There's been moments where you've had those choice points to be able to turn the fingers on yourself. And did you? And there's neither here nor wrong. But a lot of people couldn't turn the fingers on themselves. So they gave the middle finger to themselves in whatever aspect that is. Maybe you were presented with changing your job. Maybe you were presented with quitting your job. Maybe you were presented with leaving a relationship, doing whatever. And if you would have done that, notice how you are now. If you didn't do that, on the contrary, notice how you are now. Because you either chose to spin a little bit longer like this and have more of your lessons and experiences, or you made those choices and now you're starting to spiral up into this energy that's really starting to present itself into March, April, May, and June. Breathe. So when we have these gateways, and when we, learn about ourselves, crystals, meditation, mushrooms, I don't know, all the 4D things. They all serve us so well because they open up our eyes. They help us see in a way that we've never been able to see. And then you hit that like plateau where you're like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I'm doing all these things, but X, Y, and Z. That is when you have to flip to the inside and really start the embodiment of your light, and everything will change. When you pop through, when you do that flip where you put your fingers this way to you, everything will scream. Everything will tell you not to. Everything will stop you. But when you make that choice and you pop through, everything gets different and better, and you will never ever have that experience again. That is happening. So if you feel just fucking fucked in the inside and it just feels like there's like this pressure and this tornado and you're like, what is going on? Oh my God, you are being presented with either your awakening or a pop through. In this new energy and in the new world, it does not matter what happened to you before. And I know people don't like that because Earth One really likes to talk and blame and, go down the rabbit hole, and I did that in my early days. I could take people on timelines to, the moment where their trauma was created. We were able to see where their wounds were created. We were able to go into the exact rooms of where people were molested or anything like that. I've been in it all, and I needed to learn to get here. And what I can say about that is it does not matter what happened to you. What matters now is that you're here. What are you going to do about it? In the old energy and in this spin, the left and to the right, it keeps us in that cycle, that victim, rescuer, abuser of so-and-so did this to me. So-and-so molested me. So-and-so touched me. So-and-so did this to me. My sister, my mom, my grandma, my dad, my coworker, and we sit in that blame and we sit in that trauma. And we talk about it and we feed that fan that I was talking about, and we just go around and around and around. We get information on how to cope with that stuff. We have people that help us externally stabilize with all that stuff, but we never quite move through it until you cellularly and DNA accept that you're here, accept that those things has happened to you, and what are you going to do about it? That's when the shift changes. That's when you move up. Therapy, talking about it, all those things serve us all well, but they keep you in those fans. You get awareness on how to cope in the mental. You get awareness on how to cope in the emotional. You get awareness on how to cope in the spiritual and the physical, but you're never actually moving into the consciousness of you to heal it, to reverse it, and to live free of it. Again, it is horrible the things that have happened to humanity. It is horrible the things that have happened to us, but we can reverse them. We can live free of them. But the only way we can do that is through ourselves, through our consciousness, not through our program, our thoughts, our talking about it. That is the new world. Because don't you want to be free of that? Aren't you tired of being mad? Aren't you tired of being sad? Aren't you tired of being triggered? Aren't you tired of your anxieties? And aren't you fucking tired of your fears? Of not living your dream? Because when you were 5, you were molested, or your mom left you, or your dad was an alcoholic. Aren't you tired of that story? It's not yours. It's your Earth One version. It's not your lights. You can heal yourself. You can live to be 120. Your eyes can glow and your skin can glow. You can wake up every single day and love what you do, not do it because you're trying to make money. Money is a byproduct. It's an energy exchange of being in your light and creating from joy, abundance, freedom. If you look at society, especially in North America, we have created a whole entire life chasing that external thing and telling ourselves that that's going to make us happy. We're not happy. Why? Because we're dimming our light, who we are. We've lost our creativity and we lost our joy in order to serve something outside of us that is purely here to ruin our fucking lives. Read the comments on YouTube. Read the comments on TikTok. See where the world's at. So many people are sitting behind a computer screen, typing mean things, saying things, judging, trying to find anything that can make them feel better about themselves. If they can literally point the fingers out to someone else, then they can feel better about themselves. And that's the whole point of what's taking place. So breathe. And wherever you are, we're just going to end this by doing what I call activation, to just help you feel something inside of yourself. So wherever you are, just close your eyes if you can. Maybe lay down, sit, whatever works for you. And welcome to you. Welcome to the beginning of the world that you came here to live in and be a part of. And it's my absolute honor to be here where you can see me now, where I can be a part of this. And I'm so grateful for the journey that I've walked. We have an entire podcast. We'll put it in the comments or the link or however it is below so that you can listen to the 160 plus episodes. You can read the Instagram. You can book a session. You can meet the whole entire world that surrounds the new world. And there's many, many, many people on this planet who hold this same integrity and the same responsibility of what it means to be, the teachers, the guides, the people who have walked it for you so that it's easier and so that you don't have to be scared. So lay down, close your eyes, and I'm just going to take you on a little walkabout here to help you. So notice how all of a sudden you breathe and you relax and you see yourself all of a sudden standing on a cliff. Notice this cliff. See this cliff. And notice how all of a sudden in front of you, you can see stars. See the stars all turning on in the sky. Notice them. Beautiful stars all turning on. And take your finger and tap them all in the sky and turn them on with your finger. Notice yourself turning them on. And feel the stars as they turn on. And notice how all of a sudden, as they tap and as they turn on, you look down at your feet and notice that your whole body is black. And as these stars turn on, notice how beautiful pink, purple, or white light all of a sudden fills up the bottom of your toes and moves all the way up your feet, your ankle. Notice your whole entire body begins to fill with this light. And you breathe in and out. As all of a sudden it hits your chest and then your arms, and feel the light. As all of a sudden your entire body fills up with rainbow light. Notice the rainbow light as your whole body begins to fill up with rainbow, and then it switches to rainbow glitter. And notice as all those stars in the sky turn on, so do you. And feel yourself breathing in and out. And no matter what is happening in your life right now, all of a sudden you see a radio in front of you, and notice that there's a volume switch, and turn the volume down. Turn the volume down. As the rainbow that you are, turn the volume down. And then all of a sudden you begin to spin, 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 and see a beautiful pink tornado of light surround you now. And you spin, 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 spin in the beautiful pink tornado of light. And all of a sudden, 2 licorice strands appear and they split. One is blue and one is pink. And notice that you're spinning in the beautiful licorice strands. And then notice how all of a sudden your beautiful pink bubble gum, stretched out, super thin, and nothing in your life matters in this moment. And you breathe and you relax. And then notice how all of a sudden it begins to rain, and feel the rain as it hits your bubble gum. And as it hits your bubble gum, notice that every part of you begins to reset. And feel it like light switches turning on from the top of your head all the way down. Feel those light switches and feel the relief. No matter who you are and where you are, you're turning yourself on to remember that you're a star. Welcome back.